We never know that last seat in the Legco, so let's not rule that out. Preferences are going to matter. And this is the big lesson out of all of this. When you've got 45% of voters across the state not voting for the major parties, they are sending their preferences all over the place, and we just don't know what the final counts are going to be.
Yep.
Riley?
Well, yeah, I agree. The major parties now, I think it's everybody actually, has to take the lesson of tonight, and the fact that the old allegiances, the things that people used to do, the generational support among families for parties is eroding. It's almost gone. You know, people are now exercising their individuality, their independence, and they're saying our vote is not to be taken for granted. And there are issues on which we will change our vote. And we've talked about some of them today. There's a couple of big H's in politics. There's one that's hope. And there's another one that might be just a little bit above that, and that's housing. It is a massive issue. And the number of times I get pulled up on the street by people who are energised about the issue of housing and
Riley, I'm just going to interrupt you there. I'm so sorry, but the Premier is walking in. This is Memorial Drive, and he's about to hold a little doorstop.
How are you feeling?
Humbled. It's obviously an extraordinary privilege. It's been the privilege of my life outside of having such a beautiful family, and I'm just looking forward to be able to continue the work going, keeping the momentum of South Australia moving in the right direction, and I feel grateful to have received a really nice call from both Ashton Hearn and Corey Bernardi.
How'd that call go?
I received a call from both of them early this evening, and that was generous of them both, and I'm looking forward to reflecting on that when I get the chance in just a few moments. Thank you very much.
This has been a tough campaign, Premier. What does this mean to you and the Labor Party?
What did Ashton have to say?
Look, like I said, it's an absolute privilege. And the whole experience is always, you know, it's a big deal running an election campaign, and everybody from a range of political perspectives in this election have worked really hard, and a credit to all those people who have participated in our democratic process so peacefully and civilly. I think it's something that all South Australians can be proud of, and you might excuse me now as I make my way to...
I just want to ask you what you have to say to the people who voted for you.
I'm just very grateful. Look, it's hard to overstate how humbling it is when you're sitting in your living room and you're watching these sort of numbers come through. We've never seen anything quite like it before, and it means a lot, and it's just not lost on me the responsibility that comes with it. And now you really have to excuse me as I owe it to our supporters.
Thank you.
Thanks, Premier.
They really won't let him go, will they? There's the Premier Peter Malinauskas there with another 4 years ahead of him, feeling very humble. Now, my apologies, I said he was already at... But what's exciting, the exciting part, Smitho, is that we're going to actually follow him...
On Mallicam.
Yes, we're going to have a little Mallicam following him all the way. So I reckon, what would that be, about a 25-minute journey?
Maybe not that far from Croydon, but it's Mallicam if he can get his car out with not running over the tripods and everything else. And he said he was sitting there. I know he would have been watching Channel 7 because Don would have told him to watch us. Don would have said, Peter, watch me. No, Don wouldn't have said that at all.
Oh,
he wouldn't have watched anything else. That comes from the Godfather himself. Here's Mallicam. This is live pictures as we follow him down a street which we won't name, where the Premier resides. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to follow this. We can commentate the whole way.
We could mention the lovely agapanthus that are in the garden, but we won't be doing that. No, we'll put it in the corner. Just watch him drive all the way to Memorial Drive, where, of course, he'll be making his victory speech. I bet the champagne is already flowing there, Smitho. There'd be so many who are smashing the champers' backs, no doubt. We'll put him in the little corner there. Riley, I might go back to you because I felt... Are you
going to call him Mark at any stage?
That's all right.
Oh, did I?
Riley, isn't that a bit...
sorry, Riles. I always call you Riles.
I'm deeply offended.
Yeah, I know. I think we should have a fight now. So everyone calls you Smitho. You don't get offended.
But I think Riles is all right, but just Riley is a bit sort of brutal, isn't it?
You call me Mangarelli sometimes.
Oh, I do sometimes.
There you go.
You guys want to take it outside?
No, shall we?
No.
I said, we're doing so well, and we're not going to fall at the final hurdle, are we?
Not at all.
Just jokes. I do apologise. apologise, Riles, Mark, for interrupting you earlier. You were saying...
No problem at all. Now, what I was saying is that traditional allegiances have broken down.
Yeah.
That generational support for the big parties has eroded. That there are generations of voters now who cannot be relied upon. Their support isn't reflexive. Their votes have to be won. This is a really good thing for our democracy, because people are saying, when it's not going to go along with the herd, we're going to vote actually on those things that mean something to us. So there's a range of issues there that the major parties now have to sift through and prioritise, to curate and say, well, does our policy suite suit the evolution of the electorate? You can't follow the electorate. You've got to get there with it. You've got to time yourself with the electorate. You've got to move with the electorate, because if you don't, someone else will.
The key is for those major parties to listen and to have a look at what's happened.
We always hear it, don't we? You know, what are you going to do? And politicians go on listening tours. But I'm not sure what frequency they hear the people at.
Listening to it usually means you listen, I talk.
Yeah, well, there's probably that, Sarah.
Well,
but
it's also, even listening and taking some sort of action.
Yeah, and it's not just listening selectively, so there's confirmation bias about what you already believe, and there needs to be change. So we've talked about this in general terms, but there are big policy issues here too that need to be re-examined. I mean, Alex has been talking about climate, and Sarah, they're very different views on climate and energy. Where do we go? One Nation tonight, I think probably the biggest policy, we're talking about what is in their policy suite, the biggest policy, I guess, that I saw through the campaign for South Australia was $1.5 billion for a new coal-fired power station. Where's that coming from?
Yeah.
But it's not the capital markets.
But that's...
Yeah, you think that money's there,
I think we're about to enter a zone, Mark, where Australians are going to learn over the next little period, I think, what it means to be non-energy independent. And, we're learning that for a range of reasons, one of which is what's going on in the Middle East at the moment, in the Gulf states. But the other one is we are a country that has more natural resources under our feet than anyone could ever dream and hope for. We just simply don't use them, and that leaves us very vulnerable. And when that starts impacting farmers and the ability to produce fertiliser, which it may, hopefully not, but it may over the next period, I think people are going to start to reassess their mind as to whether they think we should and can be trying to do something about human-induced climate change. 1.2% of the world's emissions in this country, by the way, even if you believe the story about human-induced climate change, which I'm sure Sarah will correct me on, but that's my view. In the meantime, people are going to get into fuel rationing. So I tell you so yes, the answer to me is if we could find a way to do that, I would entirely support that, and I think South Australians would too.
Alex, can I just drag the conversation back on? We can see the Premier wing his way at some speed to Memorial Drive. I hope he's not breaking the speed limit. Anyway,
going pretty fast.
Is he driving in the Liberal Party room there, or is that at the family car?
No, it almost looks like he's got one of those.
Looks like a Toronto.
Sorry, Alex.
But anyway,
cheap shot. Sorry.
But very quickly, Alex,
getting late.
Peter Malinauskas is humbled. Do you really think he's humbled, or he was expecting it and he's just playing lip service?
Well, he says he's humbled, so we have to assume he's humbled.
Can we actually go to Labor headquarters? We've got Michaela, our political reporter, Michaela Kamarek, standing by for us. Michaela, what's happening there at the moment?
Yeah, guys, so the Premier is moments from arriving here at Memorial Drive. I'm down at the bottom of the function centre, and the Premier is expected to arrive here any moment. His brother is just down there. They're expected to have a nice family moment, a few quiet words, and then he will make his way up to the Labor function. Anticipation is certainly building up there after what was a slow start to the night. Party faithful have gathered and they're filling the room very quickly. Lucy Hood is there, Nick Champion and Kyan Ma, all waiting in anticipation for the Premier to walk up those stairs and enter the room. Quite a special moment here for the Premier, and we will bring it to you any moment that he arrives.
Michaela, I think trying to get my bearings here, he's coming down maybe past Adelaide Oval now, maybe. My eyesight's not that good, to be honest.
No, it's a
so
tiny little
I would
screen.
say he would be with you in the next 35 seconds, maybe. I think he's coming down Montefiore Hill. The viewers at
35
home.
seconds. All right, that's soon. So we'll keep an eye out. He is in his own car, so he will need to park it. And as I said, he...
Sorry.
Sorry to interrupt. We've got Riley laughing.
have a quiet moment.
He's about 2 seconds away from you, Michaela. We can tell you that.
Yep,
he's turning in.
He's just arriving now.
Yep.
We're sticking with you. Get in his face.
Yep.
Go, Michaela, go. Yeah, just talk us through what you're saying as well. It's a bit dark for us.
A moment with the brother first. Here he is pulling up now. And you can hear the loudness coming from above at Labor HQ. They're waiting in anticipation,
there he is.
Very excited for their Premier to arrive. There he is coming here. We'll catch up with him very, very shortly.
Yeah, he's keeping his cool, really, isn't he?
Annabelle is there as well.
He's got all the kids.
Oh, all the kids too.
got
I
the
guess
full
little
truck. That's
George.
why he's got
Here
the
he is, and we've got
Taranga.
the kids as well.
So maybe not the younger two. George isn't there, so he'd only be, what, a
Premier,
couple of years old. There
congratulations.
you go.
Obviously, a big win was expected. How are you feeling?
Very good, thanks.
Well done. Do you think?
And what would you say to South Australians who have thrown their support behind you?
Just an extraordinary degree of gratitude, as I just mentioned earlier. And look, it's obviously a historic result on one level, but I think it's important that no one gets carried away with themselves and just focus on the task at hand, which is to keep the momentum of the state going. The rest of the country looks at South Australia very differently now, and I'm proud of that. And I think other South Australians have every right to be proud about it too.
And 4 years ago...
haven't stopped for the whole year, really. I haven't seen you not work one weekend. Were you determined not to let South Australians see that you've taken the foot off the pedal?
Yes, absolutely. But I mean, that's what I've done ever since I've had the opportunity to be in this role. So, and that comes with the territory. You've got to make the most of every opportunity. Sometimes, if you take an opportunity, it creates two more, and that's the sort of approach we've tried to have.
And what about your lovely wife 4 years ago? You forgot to thank her. You
might give me the chance to make up for that just now, so thank you so much.
And Annabelle, how are you feeling?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
You must be so proud of everything that's gone on.
Yeah, very proud. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you can see the smiles on their faces, and you can almost hear the cheers coming from the function centre at Memorial Drive as he makes his way in. I'm sure there'll be a rock star reception. We've got Annabelle there, 2 of his 4 kids, obviously the other 2 tucked up in bed, but humbled, happy.
Happy, and I think very much going to give Annabelle a big shout out as he gets on stage. He may go into another room beforehand, but Kai Ma there, the Deputy Premier, on stage, giving Peter Malinauskas the big rousing reception introduction. I don't think it'll be too much longer now.
Nah.
But the Premier is going to say the same thing over and over again. He is humble.
He's humble.
He's very happy.
We've heard it a few times already, but no, you're right. I reckon Annabelle might be the first person he thanks tonight.
Do you think he'll give her a kiss?
I don't know. But
I
just
reckon
a thank you would be nice.
No, I think a pass. You got to. Well, they are married. Make up for it.
I'm not sure anyone has used that word since 1982, but good on you. Look, he's walking in. Let's focus on the kids. No, lovely family. And Annabelle is obviously delighted. Maybe she'll get to see her husband again for the next
she in her own right is a brilliant person.
She's a powerhouse.
Just such a lawyer of distinction that she has a career of her own. Yeah. They have 4 children and the work never stops. Yeah. And she is the greatest supporter that a leader could have.
She went back to work, I reckon, when little George was only months old. You know, I mean, I know a lot of us mums do it, but I just kind of think, hang on, but your husband's the Premier and you've got 4 kids now. Oh, no, full time. And she's just got it together.
Well, maybe the Premier will thank her tonight, do you think?
Oh, that would be nice. But what do they say? Behind every great man is what do they say, Riley?
An even greater woman,
But
Rosanna.
Riles, one thing you may not know, Annabelle comes from a very, and Christopher would back me up on this, a very liberal-leaning family. And has been all their lives.
How interesting.
It was one of the greatest mismatches, I thought, because I'm friends with her auntie, and I went to a party and that's two degrees of separation.
School together, these two, Annabelle.
No, I don't think so.
All right.
They may have, but anyway, well, he turned up at a function or at their wedding anniversary, and I said, "What the hell are you doing here?" He said, "Annabelle and I are dating," and that was. Oh, probably 20 years ago. So.
Ain't love grand? It really is, and blind and opposites attract. But in this man's mind now, though, is
here he comes.
A responsibility, right?
He wants the family with him.
With power comes responsibility. With winning comes the proper use of those numbers in the parliament for the people. So
they're chanting 4 more years.
Well. He's got them. He's got 4 years. Use them wisely.
Could be a long walk to the stage. Everyone wants to touch him, shake his hand. I think he actually looks a little overwhelmed here. This is so much build-up, and the day has arrived.
I just think he'd be exhausted, Smitho. Like, imagine.
Well, he and Ashton Hearn have not stopped for a month, and everyone wants a selfie. He has to make countless speeches.
Hugging his deputy there, Karma.
But it's the same on both sides. It's a relentless task, and it all comes to a head right now about what you're going to hear.
Friends.
Some of those cabinet positions going forward.
Well, you'll have to wait and see.
We're just going to, while we talk, here's the Premier.
Thank God.
Humbled. It's obviously an extraordinary privilege. It's been the privilege of my life outside of having such a beautiful family, and I'm just looking forward to be able to continue the work going, keeping the momentum of South Australia moving in the right direction, and I feel grateful to have received a really nice call from both Ashton Hearn and Corey Bernardi.
How'd that call go?
I received a call from both of them early this evening, and that was generous of them both, and I'm looking forward to reflecting on that when I get the chance in just a few moments. Thank you very much.
It's been a tough campaign, Premier.
Thank
what
you.
does this mean to you and the Labor Party?
What did Ashton have to say?
Look, like I said, it's an absolute privilege, and the whole experience is always, it's a big deal running an election campaign, and everybody from a range of political perspectives in this election have worked really hard, and a credit to all those people who have participated in our democratic process so peacefully and civilly. I think it's something that all South Australians can be proud of, and you might excuse me now as I make my way to...
I just want to ask you what you have to say to the people who voted for you.
I'm just very
Okay.
Look, it's hard to overstate how humbling it is when you're sitting in your living room and you're watching these sort of numbers come through. We've never seen anything quite like it before, and it means a lot, and it's just not lost on me the responsibility that comes with it. And now you really have to excuse me as I owe it to our supporters. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Premier.
Okay, so that is the Premier Peter Malinauskas leaving his home. He will be heading to Labor HQ where he will give a victory speech. So he said he has received phone calls from...
Ashton Hearn and Corey Bernardi.
Yes, both Ashton and Corey. He's saying it was very humbling to watch. It's a great responsibility. Tom Koutsantonis, as you look ahead to this next term of government, and as we were talking about with this regeneration, with a lot of talent coming through, as you have said, do you want to remain Treasurer?
Oh, it's a matter for the Premier.
But do you want to?
It's a matter for the Premier.
What do you want, Tom?
I want lots of things. I want a happy wife. I want my kids to be prosperous and do well at school and listen to their dad.
Liverpool win the Champions League.
I want Liverpool to beat Paris Saint-Germain and win the Champions League, and I want to claim our 7th title, being the 4th.
What about Treasurer?
That is a matter for the Premier.
Well, there's a few
I guess, MPs now that are entering their second term, a lot of potential there for leadership going forward. It must be quite a crowded contest going forward. I mean, how much work has gone into figuring out who the next leaders of this state are?
Lots. I mean, we're sport for choice. There's Lucy Hood, there's Blair Boyer, there's Chris Picton. I'm going to miss someone out now and upset someone. There's
high-risk strategy.
High-risk strategy. There's obviously a lot of talent within the caucus. But the way I view it is that the party must regenerate itself, and you must share power within a party. I've seen it in the Liberal Party work in reverse, where it's winner take all, and I don't think that system works. We try and put our best people forward, no matter which grouping they come from within the party, to make sure that power is shared equally across the group, and you get good outcomes.
I'll give Anne Ruston the chance to respond to that.
Well, we're not going to have the problem with a really big backbench this time, so Ashton won't have too much trouble filling her front bench positions, will she? But, you know, like, yeah, tonight is your night, and congratulations, Tom, to you and your team, because quite clearly this has been a significant victory for you. And, you know, to the winner go the spoils. And I have to say, one of the things that really resonated with me from Ashton's speech and that is the people don't get it wrong. And tonight the people have had their say and they've elected you, so congratulations. But, you know, I think this is it's a challenging time, but, you know, make the most of it while you've got this great victory in front of you, because I can assure you we're not down and out. We are coming back. And I'm really looking forward to working with the team here in South Australia and federally to make sure that we really do take it up to you at the next state election and the next federal election.
Now,
but tonight's your night.
As we have this conversation, the Premier, he is on the move. He is making his way towards the Drive complex there, Memorial Drive at Adelaide Oval. About a 5 or 6 minute drive, not far from where he has been spending the evening. I want to go back.
Got to find a car park.
You've got to find a car. It's true. On the question of renewal, with, again, some hindsight, is that something that your party hasn't necessarily done well over recent electoral cycles?
Well, quite clearly not. Because we find ourselves in the position that we have been in. I mean, I think probably the thing that was most heart-wrenching at the last election, federal election, was how many amazing candidates that we had, particularly women candidates who weren't successful at the last election. We've had some amazing candidates today who haven't got across the line, who would have provided us with that renewal. So that's why I'm saying, you know, we really do have to go back to the real basics and start with the party rebuild, so that we are in a position not only to have great candidates, which we did have, but we need to be in a position...
Well, one example of that could be Anna Finizio in the seat of Dunstan, who has obviously gone contested that seat again and is looking like, on the numbers that we're seeing here, unlikely to turn that. That looks like a very safe Labor retain at this stage with Cressida O'Hanlon.
And let's be real here.
I'm trying to be real.
No, you've got a lot of single digits here for the Liberals, for the Liberal vote. How are you going to attract more people to the Liberal Party when you're looking at those numbers, particularly women? We know this has been an issue.
Well, this is where we have to go back to those values that we talk about, the thing that why are you a Liberal? We need to make sure that we are giving people a reason to want to be a Liberal, and we need to give the public a reason to want to vote Liberal. And quite clearly, we have missed the mark over the last few years in that respect, because we have gone backwards in both the state and federal elections in the last 2 elections.
There has already been a lot of reviews into that. I mean, I go back to 2022 after the last state, actually it was after the Bragg by-election, and that was specifically looking at how the Liberal Party could bring more women into it. And at the time, we had the then leader David Spears say that having only 2 women in the lower house for the Liberals was not enough. Well, looking at these results as they're coming through now, that could be the case. So nothing changed really in the 4 years. You've already done those reviews. What more is needed?
Well, it's a culture change within the organisation, and, you know, quite frankly, I think the place that we need to look in the first instance is actually to the organisational structure and decide what it is that we really are as a Liberal Party. And so I think, we're not going to see the kinds of changes unless we actually sit down and accept the fact that, and as Tom said, I mean, the reasons why we've had such a low vote in the city are probably completely different for the reasons that we've seen a significant deterioration in our vote in regional areas. So I think, the idea that there's going to be, one sort of silver bullet solution to this, it's just not going to happen. But I think we do need to understand that, we are always successful when we're a party of the centre-right. We're never going to be successful if we move too far to the left, because then we just look like the Labor Party, or if we move too far to the right. I think Australians respect us when we sit in the centre, and that is the value proposition that I think we've been missing and that we have to get back to if we're going to be competitive again anytime soon.
OK, as we wait for the Premier to arrive at Labor HQ, let's go to Casey now, because you're taking a look at the Legislative Council.
Yeah, the main game on election night is always the House of Assembly, because the Legislative Council just takes a lot longer to count. This is a very early count, so we're just going to show you the figures of where things are, but they are likely to shift as this count progresses, and we're not getting any early votes of the Legislative Council tonight. But here is what we've got with 4.7% of the state counted, Labor sitting on 35.5%. Now, there are 11 seats up for grabs in the Legislative Council. A quota for election is 8.33%. So Labor on 35 are currently sitting on more than 4 quotas. So you would assume at this point you could probably confidently say Labor on 4. Now, I would have, given the polling, Labor might have been hoping for 5, and that we'll see how we go. Now, again, small count, which means there's more regional votes in this, and we're not correcting this from where it's come from. These are raw counts. So Labor's vote may well increase from here. One Nation on nearly 3 quota, so I think Corey Bernardi's certainly elected. Carlos Caremba, the Victor Harbour plumber, is probably elected, and there may be a third as well in the upper house. The Liberals have probably 2, and the Greens have won probably 1. But there's a bit of, these numbers will shift, so I'm not even going to try and project out the other seats at this point. But a good result for One Nation there. They could well get a third seat in the upper house, not just the 1 or 2 that people are talking about.
OK, Casey, thank you. Well, we are standing by to take you to Labor HQ, where the Premier Peter Malinauskas is due to arrive any moment. In fact, he has arrived.
Premier, driving yourself again.
Found a car park.
Premier, congratulations. Obviously, a big win was expected. How are you feeling?
That's his brother.
That's his brother, Rob Malinauskas.
It's just
And what would you say to South Australians who have thrown their support behind
So the Premier is just making his way into Labor HQ. There's his wife Annabelle behind, and their children as well. He talked earlier about being humbled by this result, at such a great privilege to do this job, and how he's looking forward to the future as well.
Yeah, Tom Koutsantonis, some more reflections. You've known Peter Malinauskas for, well over a decade now. You've worked alongside him in Parliament for a decade as well. How have you seen him mature over his parliamentary career?
He was a groomsman in my wedding. He's someone who we saw a lot of promise in a long, long time ago. And during this campaign, he has not needed anyone's guidance. He is match fit. He's at the top of his game. He won't like me saying this because he's a very, very humble bloke, but he's ready. He's peaked at the right time, and he's going to do a great job. And his wife and family are his life. His 4 kids, his small Catholic family, as he likes to call it. And he is going to be devoted to the state the same way he's devoted to them. And I trust him with my children's future, and I think South Australians have tonight as well.
OK, let's take you to Labor HQ once again. There, the Premier is walking up the stairs to be greeted, no doubt, by a very loud reception at Labor HQ. Let's just take these pictures as all the camera crews head in as well and head up the stairs. The Premier will make his way to the podium, where will he be giving a speech.
And what is happening inside Labor HQ right now is the Deputy Premier, Kaya Ma, is revving the crowd up in preparedness for the Premier's arrival. He is up there on stage. There we go. very much getting them ready for Peter Malinauskas, who in just moments will make his way inside the function which is being held at Memorial Drive, again to the southern end of Adelaide Oval.
OK, he is about to make his way in. His family's just waiting for him. I'm sure the crowd is getting a bit revved up. I don't think they need any revving up, but I'm sure they will be anyway.
I can see the tired faces of a few Labor staffers in that crowd as well.
And he won't forget Annabelle tonight.
No. Will he forget the Labor lion?
Yes, he should. He should focus on Annabelle tonight.
OK, so there you can see in Kaya Ma, the Deputy Premier there, speaking to the crowd. Let's take you to him right now.
People who work at Bedford Industries what a Labor government can do. Ask Aboriginal elders whose voices are now being heard through the First Nations voice to Parliament. South Australia is a different place to what it was 4 years ago. People do not make jokes about South Australia anymore. We are the envy of the nation. How others see us has changed. And that also changes, I think, how we see ourselves. And that's because of a Labor government, this Labor government, a Malinauskas Labor government. I've known Mally for, I think, 20 years or so now. He recently said that we agree 99% of the time, and for a Premier to be wrong 1 in 100 times is remarkable. I am proud to call him a friend. He's a father of 4. He's a weekend gardener. He's a pretty ordinary football player, and he's the continuing Premier of South Australia.
Yeah, so here he is, Peter Malinauskas, making his way through the crowd as you'd expect, being greeted with open arms. There's Jen Roberts, the incoming member for Hartley, there at the front of the stage, waiting to see more selfies and an embrace with Kaya Ma.
And the Premier is about to make his way to the podium for his speech. If he can make his voice heard over the crowd, we will take you to that right now and hear what he has to say.
Friends. There's the Premier about to leave his house. There he is.
Humbled. It's obviously an extraordinary privilege. It's been the privilege of my life outside of having such a beautiful family, and I'm just looking forward to be able to continue the work going, keeping the momentum of South Australia moving in the right direction, and I feel grateful to have received a really nice call from both Ashton Hearn and Corey.
How'd that call go?
I received a call from both of them early this evening, and that was generous of them both, and I'm looking forward to reflecting on that when I get the chance in just a few moments. Thank you very much.
This has been a tough
Thank you.
campaign, Premier.
Thank
What
you,
does this mean to you and the Labor Party?
What did Ashton have to say?
Look, like I said, it's an absolute privilege. And the whole experience is always, it's a big deal running an election campaign, and everybody from a range of political perspectives in this election have worked really hard, and a credit to all those people who have participated in our democratic process so peacefully and civilly. I think it's something that all South Australians can be proud of, and you might excuse me now as I make my way to give a speech. Thank you so much.
Thank you
so much.
Yeah, well done. He is keen to get to Labor headquarters, which of course is at Memorial Drive in the Tennis Centre.
It's hard to overstate how humbling it is when you're sitting in your living room and you're watching these sort of numbers come through. We've never seen anything quite like it before, and it means a lot, and it's just not lost on me the responsibility that comes with it. And now you really have to excuse me as I owe it to our supporters. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Premier.
Thanks.
So Peter Malinauskas on the very short trip from his home to Labor headquarters. We're not that far, probably enough time for us to have a quick break. Don't go away. Maybe just grab that Malinauskas, who will be leading the next 4 years of South Australian government. It was part of our live coverage in 2026.
IQ's reduced.
Welcome back to Election 2026. SA Decides. We are now giving you some pictures here in the corner. That is Peter Malinauskas making his way to the Labor Party HQ, where he will soon be addressing the party faithful after what could still well be a record-breaking victory.
I think that's Keziah Sullivan driving. She's at the
She's
wheel.
behind the wheel.
Nick Fraser, our camera operator, is doing a great job. You can hear us, can't you, Kez? We're talking about you. Nick Fraser in the front seat there. Well done. What kind of pace are you travelling there at the moment, Kez? Looks like it's a nice slow ride to...
We're going the speed limit, so 50 k's per hour. He's a very sensible driver, Mr. Malinauskas.
Is he driving, Kez? He got behind the wheel?
Yeah. You're just hearing me off the top mic of the camera, so we're just driving along here. He's not far off of Adelaide Oval there, which is also the tennis centre, so it'll be in the next couple of minutes or so they should start to see him arriving. I'm sure they're all very excited there. There was a lot of excitement there out the front of his house.
Yeah.
We even had someone ride past on their bike and they were like, "Congratulations, Malinauskas." So yeah, there's a lot of hype around his suburb as well.
Yeah, so just tracking along War Memorial Drive there. I'm sure he's going to get a bit of a celebrity welcome when he walks into the Adelaide Oval. It's going to be loud.
Absolutely. Stephen Mulligan, you know him as well as anyone. How do you think he's feeling right now?
Well, I think he was, so genuine in his brief comments to the camera before. He is truly humbled by the result and the responsibility that he's got as the Premier of our state. He's a very thoughtful and articulate leader, but you really get a sense that what he's saying and telling you, he absolutely believes and means. And I'm looking forward to what he's got to say tonight, because I know that he takes the responsibility really seriously, and with such a huge result for Labor, a history-making result for Labor, he'll want to make the most of it for the benefit of the state.
Stephen, you've always been a big supporter of Peter Malinauskas. After seeing the result tonight, it being as emphatic as it was, is there any part of you that wishes maybe you'd stayed on for another 4 years?
Oh, no, not to that extent. I mean, there's always regrets about stepping away from politics, because you run for these jobs to try and get things done. And when you're not involved, of course, you can't get things done, and there's always more to do. But aside from that, this was the right time for me, and it was also the right time for the party, as well as the others that I mentioned before who are stepping away, so that we can see that renewal, we can see the next generation of MPs come into the parliament, and not only take Labor forward, but contribute to taking the state forward.
Adelaide Oval's an interesting place for the event to be hosted, because it's a long walk from where you park the car all the way up to where I suppose they're doing it on the second level there.
Oh, Gus, I was at the footy last night and it was a nightmare. Parking and getting around and getting in and out. We might be waiting a little while.
Nearly stopped there by a red light. I mean, red's the colour of Labor, I get it, but allow Kez to go through. Good pace there, Kez. Stephen, a question for you. Record-breaking Labor victory at state level. The federal ALP will be looking at this with a huge amount of interest, and particularly Mally. Mally in the past has said he's not interested in taking it to federal level. Do you think that he potentially may have those aspirations to become a federal leader one day?
No, I don't think so. I think he's doing not only an outstanding job as Premier, but he gets to have such an influence on his state in South Australia in that position as Premier. And that's a lot harder to do, even if you happen to be a member of government and a minister in a federal government. It's great that we've got Peter here, where he can make such a significant contribution and make such a significant amount of change for the benefit of the state.
There's 3 or 4 politicians I know in Canberra that'd be happy with that result too. If he stays here in Canberra, it's in Adelaide instead of going up there.
Stephen, I have a related question. Peter can stay as long as he likes as Labor leader, you would assume, given this incredibly successful result. But when Peter Malinauskas isn't the leader here anymore of your party, who do you think could position themselves for succession?
Well, look, I think there's a wide range of candidates. I mean, even in this election campaign, you've seen ministers like Blair Boyer and Lucy Hood step up. They've done a really great job during the course of the campaign, and they and other ministers are really solid performers outside of election periods. So I think what you'll see is more and more ministers continuing to step up to the plate. And if and when Peter goes, I think there's going to be a pretty broad range of candidates who could put
He's almost made his way in. He's been stopped again. Let's have a listen.
Themselves are just focused on the task at hand, which is to keep the momentum of the state going. The rest of the country looks at South Australia very differently now, and I'm proud of that. And I think other South Australians have every right to be proud about it.
And Premier, you really haven't stopped for the whole year, really. I haven't seen you not work one weekend. Were you determined not to let South Australians see that you've taken the foot off the pedal?
Yes, absolutely. But I mean, that's what I've done ever since I've had the opportunity to be in this role. So, and that comes with the territory. You've got to make the most of every opportunity. Sometimes if you take an opportunity, it creates two more, and that's the sort of approach we've tried to have.
And what about your lovely wife 4 years ago? You forgot to thank her. You won't make that mistake
You might give me the chance to make up for that just now, so thank you so much.
We can hear him already, Premier.
We might just...
Certainly going to be loud up there when he comes. You can see the Deputy Premier Kyle Maher already up there on stage. He's warming up the crowd. It's going to be super, super vocal when he makes it up here, or makes it up to that room. We might take a listen to what Kyle Maher has to say.
It always has been, it always will be Aboriginal land, and it's important to recognise that.
It's Premier's Chief of Staff there on screen, John Bistrovich.
One of you in this room, each and every one of you who have spent so much time over the last few weeks, over the last few months, and over the last 4 years to put us in the position we're in. None of this could happen without the members of the mighty and the most formidable political operation in the country, the South Australian Labor Party. And our friends who form that integral part of the mighty Labor movement, the trade unions who give us so much support in South Australia. And on a personal note, I want to thank my family, which I don't get to do much, to Calms, to Muls, to Flinny and Jysey, tar heaps. Friends, it's been a busy 4 years. We have shown what a Labor government can do using the power of government. Ask anyone in Whyalla what a Labor government can do. Ask any of the families of people who work at Bedford Industries what a Labor government can do. Ask Aboriginal elders whose voices are now being heard through the First Nations voice to Parliament. South Australia is a different place to what it was 4 years ago. People do not make jokes about South Australia anymore. We are the envy of the nation. How others see us has changed. And that also changes, I think, how we see ourselves. And that's because of a Labor government, this Labor government, a Malinauskas Labor government. I've known Mally for, I think, 20 years or so now. He recently said that we agree 99% of the time, and for a Premier to be wrong 1 in 100 times is remarkable. I am proud to call him a friend. He's a father of 4. He's a weekend gardener. He's a pretty ordinary football player. And he's the continuing Premier of South Australia, Mally!
friends.
About complacency in the further 4 years.